Hey everybody, Greg Plum here, PlumUC. Just want to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about what we've been up to with Office 365 recently. So a little bit about us. I've been in the channel for about 15 years, most of that time spent on the telecom side, but the last couple of years I've gotten involved with the IT channel and CompTIA, the governing body that's really in charge of or overseeing the advancement of IT initiatives worldwide. They created a telecom advisory council. I've been fortunate enough to have a seat on that council. It's really given us truly a front row seat to the convergence of the IT and telecom channels. It's been a pretty interesting ride so far. Also, I'm currently a member of the CompTIA faculty, and earlier this year I decided to launch PlumUC, focusing on voice options specifically for Office 365, working with partners who sell 365 to give them some enhanced options to take to their customers. So the first one we're going to talk about is a hybrid bridge. Link includes a voice over IP bridge, so anybody within that environment can connect absolutely free. It's included with the Link license. But what happens in the scenario when if they're not at an internet connection or they're not at their computer, then typically people will dial into a conference bridge and just with a telephone, dial a phone number and a passcode, and they're able to gain access. So what a hybrid bridge does will actually marry the two of those worlds together. So somebody, if they're having an internal meeting in Link, they can invite people from outside just by dialing a telephone number and passcode. They will be able to get the audio piece of that meeting. So the nice thing is the overall telecommunication cost, the conferencing cost drops because those within using Office 365 that leverage that Link license are able to communicate for free. It's included with the service. And there's no cost to add the Link bridge, but there's a small metered cost per minute cost for the hybrid bridge for the PSTN component where they're dialing in. But they're going to get some enhanced participation because those that might not be able to participate otherwise will be able to now pick up a phone, dial a number, and passcode to gain access to that. So that's definitely the lowest hanging fruit out there and something that should be added to, in my opinion, everybody who has an Office 365 license with Link enabled, this service should be added. So Link as a whole, great productivity tool. I'm sure you've heard about it, and I'm sure you've heard the news. Skype for Business is what's going to be called in 2015. Ultimately, what's great about it is it shows the presence, so you know the person you're trying to communicate with. You're going to know when they're available, and then it gives you a variety of options. You can send them an email, an IM, a video chat. You can call them by the voice over IP component. Nice thing is it's across different platforms, Apple, Mac, the PC, Windows environment, different types of devices and mobile devices. It's a consistent interface across the board. So it definitely helps with the adoption of the service. But what's missing is old school telephony, the actual just dial tone where somebody can dial a phone number from it. So that's where we come into play. By adding a hosted voice platform. Now, when I say hosted, really same thing as you've heard cloud or SaaS, software as a service. It's essentially just taking that service. It's taking the telephony out of the organization, out of the on-premise type solution, and moving it to the cloud. The service that we're going to talk about, one of the options actually fully integrates right into Microsoft Exchange. So it's going to give them a unified communications experience where the email will be able to leave, the voicemails will be left in the email client for the customer. The Office 365 purchase is now no longer just going to be a computing solution, but it'll also be a telephony solution. And what many love is there's no capital expense with this type of solution. As with all SaaS applications, it's just operating expense. So the options that are included here, a couple of them. Enterprise Voice is going to be fully integrated into an E3 or E4 license, and we can talk about that as if a customer has this need. Another option, if they don't want to have their telephony integrated with Office, what we can do is actually run it in parallel. So there are different platforms that will run a fully hosted telephony solution, and it will run in parallel to Link, so you'll be able to take advantage of both the hosted solution that has the highest level of call controls along with the integration with the Link client. So what we do is we have relationships with multiple providers. We don't go in with a set agenda. We want to find out what the customer's needs are and then make the recommended solution based on those needs. So what we're essentially doing is we're picking up where Microsoft leaves off. They've done a great job with the link. What we're doing is we're going and adding the voice services to 365. We're going to leverage that Microsoft spend. They've already spent some money with Microsoft for the computing piece. We're going to say we're going to allow them to take that initial spend turn it into not just a telephony system, but also a unified communication system. They'll get that one phone number that follows them everywhere. Voicemail go to email, email goes to voicemail. It's a completely more holistic communications approach. And the value for the partner is really it's an incremental revenue stream. So we know the margins are a little bit thin on Office 365. Margins on this are much, much healthier. So it's definitely something if you want to put into your toolbox when you're talking to your customers. So if any of this sounds of interest, do drop me a line anytime. Would love to chat with you. And thanks for the listening.